What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, it is the 4th day of May. We've had a red weekend, hence the red shirt, right? Here we are, $96,000, $95,500 essentially right now. If you notice, the lack of volume here was consistent with last weekend's lack of volume as well, and the weekend before, right? All these low volume periods, they happen over the weekend. And we haven't really gone anywhere, right? We're not really moving too far. I do expect the game plan right now is still that we go down to about $88,000 to $89,000. 89 is fine. We could stop right there at 89K. It's fine. Just below 89K. From a low to a high, that 382 is right there, right below it. So I mean, we really could stop right there. But $88,000 is where I think we're going to go ultimately, or somewhere around there. If we go a little bit lower, we drop to 85, we drop to 82, whatever. Anything and everything can happen. But that's the game plan right now. The only way that would change is if, well, I mean, one of two things. One, we consolidate up here for like the next week. We give our indicators a chance to cool off, and then we run again, right? Or two, maybe we don't cool off at all. Maybe we say screw cooling off, and we're just ready to go right now. If we do start closing days above $97,000, then there's no denying that we're moving higher, with or without hot indicators. We don't need them to cool off. There's no rule that says you can't. There's no rule that says being overbought like this in the RSI coming down. There's no rule that says you can't just get back up in there and see higher prices or higher readings, right? And if you do this, you're going to get a very bullish maneuver indeed. There's no rule that says the stochastics can't be overbought for weeks or months on end. There's no rule that says that, right? But it's just the longer you stay up here, the fact that you're up here for a while and you've just gotten out, it tells me you probably want to cool off. So I'm not expecting so much the second option. I'm expecting the first option, if anything, if we are to absolve ourselves here, right? The possibility of going down here, all I'm saying, is likely right now. This is the target, 87 to 89,000, right there in the middle. 88K is where I think we're going to go. Okay, that is the target. The way to absolve yourself is one of two, right? And I think the first way is the probable way that we would absolve ourselves if we do. I'm not saying that we will. I'm just saying if we do, this would be more likely. Is that we just by time, we kind of consolidate by time up here. Still, we don't make any movements. Something like this would give our indicators a chance to cool off. And then we can try again higher, right? So if in about a week we're still in this area, we haven't made any headway to the downside, I would say that this is no longer an appropriate target. We're probably getting ready to move up. With the RSI specifically, looking at it here being overbought, you do have bearish divergence to top it off. You had a lower high. Here you have a higher high. And getting out of the overbought zone, generally speaking, where you expect to find support is one of two areas. If you're expecting continuation, and we are expecting to continue to the upside at some point, you would look for a bounce at the 60 or a bounce at the 50. One of those two. If we bounce at the 60, I'll tell you what, if we bounce at the 60, we're probably not going to get enough momentum to break through this zone. So finding support at the 60 on the daily RSI would likely coincide with staying in this range, and that could change things. The 88 to 87, 89K target would be off the table at that point, or at least less likely at that point, right? If the stochastics get out of the overbought zone, that's pretty convincing, at least to me, that we would continue to go down. Generally speaking, these things, you get oversold, you get overbought, you get overbought, you get oversold. When you're crossing the threshold, you go from one to the other. It's very rare, or I should say it's less common that you stop somewhere in between, but sometimes you do, especially during stronger movements to the upside or to the downside. So assuming that we're getting continuation, assuming that we are in the middle of a strong move, we might look to find support around the 50 or even the 60 for the stochastics there, okay? But something down a little bit, right? It's possible you could stay up in this overbought zone for a long time, right? I mean, you've done it before, but even here, when you consolidated for about a week, you cooled off. You found support right around your 50, even your 40 area. You know what I mean? You came all the way back up. RSI here was overbought. It came down, it found support at the 50, right? And that's, if we were to do similar stuff like that, I think that would coincide with a very similar move, actually. And this move, to be completely fair, I've been comparing this move to what we're expecting to do overall anyways, right? From a high to a low, this move here is pretty standard, right? You saw a move that was a little bit bigger than that move here. High to low right here, even high to low right there, that moves a little bit smaller. High to low right here, that moves basically the exact same as this one. High to low right here, it's basically the exact same as well. You know, not saying that this is like the standard move to go off of, but it's a pretty average move for Bitcoin to drop to. And from that high to this low, that puts you down right at about $88,000. So, and then also just comparing it in the RSI with the stochastics to what we saw here, this is exactly actually what I'm expecting, is about a week of downside. This week would be red, but we'll see. If not, if it's not red, then we'll chill. We'll chill here. I mean, maybe it's a little bit red, but it's less red than I think. But time will tell. Let's get away from this real quick. Daily MACD looking like it's about to cross to the downside. That's a point in favor of the bears, I suppose. And with this week being bearish, right, we could come down. Maybe the blue line comes down and finds support off the zero. We've got this nice higher low structure, higher high structure with our oscillators here. I don't get, man. I've been seeing this lately. People are using the MACD without using the oscillators. I don't get it. Use the oscillators. It's there for a reason. Use the oscillators, man. People who I respect in the space just using the histogram. What are you doing, man? You're missing half. I mean, the histogram is not everything. It's like you're going through reading a story and you're only reading the pages on the left side. There's a whole other side of the book too, man. You know, you gotta anyways. Literally, that's a perfect analogy. It's like if you don't have the oscillators on here, it's like reading a book, but you're only reading the pages on the left side. Every time you're flipping, you're not looking at the right side. You know what I mean? It's, anyways. Looking at the 4-hour time frame now, getting into this. Let's see, the 4-hour RSI looks like it wants to go lower. It absolutely does. We're at an area where we could bounce, right? Lower lows here. I mean, we could bounce right around here. Maybe we go a little bit lower and then we bounce. Any recovery right now does not necessarily absolve us of seeing $88,000, right? It's very common, even on the way down, to not move in a completely straight line. But it does seem as though we're in this like falling pizza wedge here, right? This falling wedge is what they're called. We're probably about to break out of it. We could break out to the upside. It is possible. I mean, in all fairness, right, we are in a bullish trend. Consolidation to the downside in a bullish trend tends to break out to the upside. Tends to being the key word, not always. And we are at prior resistance looking for support. And on the RSI, it wouldn't be crazy to bounce here. We're at a support area in the MACD and the stochastics as well. It wouldn't be crazy on a 4-hour time frame, but if we do something like this, you guys, don't get too excited. If we just move up to 97, 98K, that doesn't mean that we're on our way higher. We could stop right here, get a little double top action on, and then finally begin going down, right? Maybe we have a little end of day rally, or maybe we don't. Maybe we don't bounce here. Maybe we don't break out of this to the upside. Maybe we do, in fact, break out to the downside. Or this isn't a falling pizza at all. It's just a spiral into nothingness. You know, we're just going to keep going lower. I don't know. In fact, if we were to do this over time, that would probably help the case of not going to 88,000, not going below 90,000, right? If we were to just slowly bleed, that would help the case out a lot. But if we break down, if we see a breakout, we're probably going to go to 88 or lower. Looking at the 4-hour RSI again, to me, it looks like it's not done. To me, it looks like it has unfinished business to resolve down in the oversold zone, if not at the oversold zone, right? Something like that. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. 1-hour stochastics and MACD, or sorry, the 4-hour stochastics and MACD, they're not too reliable at this level. Honestly, I'm going to delete them at this point. Just delete them there. Let's put the 1-hour time frame on there because we're only getting lower. I don't like stochastics or MACD for shorter term time frames. RSI is very reliable, but yeah, the RSI looks like it's at an area to bounce to. Are you going to bounce though? That's the question, right? You've got low volume. Whenever you're at the end of your ropes consolidating, whenever you're at the end of your consolidation phase, you have low volume. You normally do break out one way or another, and we'll know that it's a breakout if volume comes in to back it up. There's no volume coming in to back up this move though. If anything, there was a little volume on the downside there, but nothing really to sustain it. So we'll see. We're just in a wait and see phase. My expectations are $95,500 now. We're going to go down to $88,000. It's just a matter of time. This week here is probably going to be bearish. That's my expectations. Oh yeah, let's do this too real quick. On. Bring back those indicators. Hey, there we go. There's the indicators. We'll go on the weekly time frame. I mean, if we do something like this, right? If this week closes here in the next 9 hours and 40 minutes, if it closes here or even a little bit lower and we're green, all these indicators are still going to be pointed upwards. If next week we have a quick pullback to $88,000 and then move up a quick recovery too, as is very common whenever we're moving up. We tend to have these quick little shakeouts and then we pull back up. If we see something like that next week, some kind of candle that's like this one here, that would maintain the bullish posturing of all these indicators here. So what this is telling me is not necessarily agreeing. It doesn't necessarily agree with what I'm calling for, right? Because what I'm calling for is to go down to 88,000, 86,000, somewhere in that area, 80, whatever, right? In that target area there. But these all look like they want to continue going higher. So if that's the case, we're deducing this from the daily that it wants to go down, from the 4-hour that it wants to go down, but the weekly says it wants to go up. My assumption could only be that if next week is red, if this coming week is red, that starts in about 9 hours and 40 minutes, it's going to be very short-lived to the downside. It's probably not going to get in the way of the stochastics going to the overbought zone, of the RSI going to the overbought zone, right? And the MACD looks like it wants to cross. We're getting a bounce off the zero line, which is exactly what we did last time, which is exactly what we did over here. You know what I mean? Like it's and hold up now on that note in itself. Just look here. You know, we'll circle this and we'll circle this, right? That's at the bottoming area. Your oscillators here are coming down to the zero line. That's this dashed line right there, right where the histogram is, right where like the threshold for the histogram is. You're finding support at the zero. It's not as specific as the RSI. You don't need to go all the way to the zero to find support at the zero, right? It doesn't have to be like this, although sometimes it is. Here you found support at the zero as well. Here you found support at the zero as well. Now if we go through and we look at every single time that we found support at the zero, here it was the same time that we were at these low points in the RSI. Low points in the RSI. Low points in the RSI. The same levels every single time. Just like with the MACD, it's the same level. And the stochastics, to be fair, the last 3 times on a weekly basis we've been oversold. Each and every single one of these times, we were at the end of this consolidation phase right here, ready to move up. End of this consolidation phase right here, ready to move up, right? All in the same area, all literally right there in the same area. And every single one of those times, the RSI moved up to the overbought zone. The stochastics went to the overbought zone. The MACD crossed bullishly, and the price followed suit as well. So over the coming weeks, I'm definitely not bearish on Bitcoin. I mean, we're on a war path to new all-time highs, you guys. That's the reality of it. Bitcoin is straight up on a war path to new all-time highs. But I do believe this next week to be turbulent. I do believe that we're going to see a little bit of turbulence on that war path. This next week might provide a wick to the downside. We'll come up, we'll close neutral or something like that, and then continue to pump. That's the expectation. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.